There is a specific type of person on this planet who has turned down more money than most people make in a year. Not because they are rich, not because they are irrational, but because something inside them simply will not allow it. You clicked on this video because you either are that person or you know someone who is. And by the time this video is over, you're going to understand exactly why the psychology behind never selling a modified car is one of the most fascinating and deeply human stories that nobody is talking about. Most people think they already have the answer. They say it is just sentimental attachment. They say the owner is being emotional and impractical. They say a car is a depreciating asset, and holding on to it makes zero financial sense. And for years, that explanation has been handed out like it is the complete truth. But it is not even close. Because what is actually happening inside the mind of someone who refuses to sell their modified car goes so much deeper than sentiment. And it starts with something that happened long before any offer was ever made. I want to tell you something personal before we go any deeper. My first car was a beat-up 2003 Mitsubishi Eclipse that burned oil and had a cracked dashboard. Nobody would have looked twice at it. But within 3 months, I had installed a cold air intake, put on aftermarket wheels, tinted every window, and spent 2 full weekends respraying it in a color nobody asked for. My friend thought I had lost my mind. My parents thought I was throwing money into a hole. But every single modification felt like a decision only I could make, a mark that only I could leave on something. That car stopped being a machine somewhere around month 4. It became something I still do not have a clean word for. And that is exactly where the psychology begins. Here is what nobody talks about. The moment a modified car owner decides they will never sell is not always dramatic. Sometimes it happens quietly, almost accidentally. It happened to me on a Tuesday afternoon in a gas station parking lot. A stranger walked up, looked at my Eclipse, and offered me nearly double what I had paid for it. I remember standing there doing the math in my head, knowing the numbers made perfect sense, and still hearing something inside me say absolutely not. I smiled, said it was not for sale, and drove away feeling something I could not explain at the time. Now I can. That car had already stopped being a possession. It had become a piece of my identity. And you cannot put a price on a piece of yourself. But here is where it gets even more interesting, and I promise you have never heard it framed this way before. The reason you cannot sell is not just emotional attachment. There is a deeper psychological mechanism at work that researchers call identity fusion. Every hour you spent watching tutorials at midnight, every weekend you skipped to work in the garage, every paycheck you redirected toward parts. All of that did not just modify the car. It modified you. The car became a physical record of your sacrifices, your obsessions, your growth. And the human brain does not separate the object from the identity anymore. They have merged. Selling the car does not feel like selling metal. It feels like selling a version of yourself that you worked incredibly hard to become. Now here is the part that most people never consider, and this is where the psychology gets truly fascinating. Think about what this car actually knows about you. It was there the night you drove alone for 2 hours because you needed to clear your head. It was there when you got the news that changed everything. It was there on the best night of your life and on the worst morning after. The seats remember your posture when you were stressed. The steering wheel remembers how tight you grip it when you're anxious. No stranger sitting in a dealership test drive has any idea what lives inside those doors. And somewhere deep in your gut, the thought of someone else owning that history feels less like losing a car and more like handing a stranger your journal. That is not irrationality. That is identity protection at its most primal level. And then there is the sunk cost identity trap, arguably the most powerful psychological force keeping modified car owners from ever letting go. Every modification you added increased not just the value of the car, but the psychological cost of losing it. The more you invested, the more your brain needed the car to justify those investments. This is not weakness. This is how the human mind protects meaning. When you spend 3 years and $40,000 building something, your brain rewires itself to believe that object is irreplaceable. Because admitting otherwise would mean admitting that all those sacrifices were for something temporary. And nobody wants to believe their obsession was just a phase. Consider the people who did sell. There's a guy named Derek from Phoenix who built a fully modified Subaru WRX over 4 years. Upgraded turbo, full suspension overhaul, custom wide body. He sold it in 2021 because the offer was too good to refuse. Within 6 months, he had started modifying the new car, spending more than he made on the sale, desperately trying to recreate something that could not be recreated. He told someone in a forum that the new car felt like a copy of a feeling he used to have. He did not lose a car. He lost the version of himself that lived inside it. And that is a loss that no check can cover. But it goes even further than personal identity. When you sell a modified car, you do not just lose the object. You risk losing your place in something much larger. Modified car culture is a living community built on shared obsession and mutual respect. The people at those Saturday night meets do not just know your car. They know your vision, your taste, your progression from what it was to what it became. The moment that car is gone, a chapter of your story in that community closes permanently. You become someone who used to have that build. And in a world where so many people already feel unseen, the psychological weight of going from someone to someone who used to be, that is not a small thing. That is an identity death that most people are simply not prepared for. So let me ask you something directly right now. Think about your own car. Think about the first modification you ever made. Think about the exact moment you realized this was no longer just a hobby. This was you. If someone walked up to you tomorrow and offered you more money than you have ever seen for that car, what would your body do before your brain even had a chance to respond? Because that reaction, that split second before logic even enters, that is the truth. That is every late night, every sacrifice, every version of yourself that car witnessed, refusing to be erased. The psychology of people who never sell their modified cars is not the psychology of irrationality. It is the psychology of people who have found something genuinely rare, an object that holds their story, reflects their identity, and connects them to a community that actually sees them. Letting go of that is not a financial decision. It is an existential one. And the next time someone tells you that you are being irrational for refusing to sell, remember this. They're not wrong that it does not make financial sense. They're just asking the wrong question. The question was never whether you should sell the car. The question was always whether you are ready to let go of the person you became while building it. If your car is more than metal and machinery to you, drop a comment below and tell me the one modification that made you say, "This is never leaving my hands." Because I have a feeling this comment section is about to tell some of the most honest stories on the internet.